We got coaches. We got a Colzie condition happening. We're just going to do it in real time. You're right there, Coach. Come on. Yeah, come on. Look, it's live.
I'm acting as if I know.
People have done crazier things on the internet than just walk up on stage. You're good.
You are okay, Coach.
You told me to come on. I did. That's exactly what I did.
Come on, grab the headset right there.
We're going to get his headset on here. And, Coach.
He said if you're not early, you're not on time.
You're not on time. Well, look, Coach Colzie from Florida A&M. Coach, look. First year, but not your first year. You're familiar with the program. Talk about what you've had to do so far just to get ready here.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is my third season coming in, and I think that being under Coach Simmons as the assistant head coach, and working with the defensive backs, I learned early how important football is to the FAMU Rattlers.
Look, football is one of those things. It's not just about a game. It's not just about a team. It is a culture at Florida A&M. When you're going out and you're recruiting players, what are you telling them and how important it is to understand that they're not just joining a team but a family?
Well, I think the biggest thing is when once we get these guys on campus and get them and show them all of the positive things that are going on in Tallahassee, specifically at Florida A&M, getting a chance for them to be around our professors, getting a chance to be around our team, getting a chance to be around in the city, getting a chance to be around our administration, and it's really, really easy. Now, obviously, a lot of these recruits that we signed were in the spring, but a lot of them came to our spring game. They saw some of the losses that we had, that we had incurred during the season, so they also saw a lot of opportunity. Obviously the guys we lost via the portal or via graduation, right? So those recruits that we brought in saw an opportunity where they can contribute early and have the opportunity to be successful early in their careers.
Coach Colzie, if you do your research, you will find that FAMU leads all FCS schools in FBS transfers. You hit the portal pretty hard.
Yeah.
How do you make that successful? Because there's also research that says just because you get all these transfers doesn't mean you win a championship. So how do you balance those two?
And that's a great question. I will say this. When we were looking at the players that we lost, now it was extremely important for us to try to get those similar type of players. And so when you lose a third-year starter or a 3-year starter, it was going to be hard for us to bring in a high school kid of some sort. So so you look at those guys. We had about 28 to 30 guys on my board. We had those guys listed, and then we needed to find some either equal or possibly better. So I think we did that for the most part. Now again, we got 89, 90 guys when I left a couple days ago, and they were in the weight room, and we were doing install meetings and we were working on OTAs, and we are a very, very good looking group when you get off the bus. But I think the most important thing that we're going to have to make sure we do is play as a team. We'll be talented, as I said, guys coming from Power 5, Group of 5 conferences, but there's a strong possibility we may have guys on the third team that came from Group of 5 schools. So how is that guy going to handle that? How is that guy going to be able to get over that adversity? But ultimately, as a staff, ultimately as our veterans and our leaders of this team, we're going to have to play together. So we'll be talented, but the question will be play together if we have any type of adversity.
Let's talk about Kendall Bowler.
Yes.
He is a tremendous athlete, leader on this team, defensive backs. That is your specialty. What type of leadership does he bring to Florida A&M?
Well, he's more of a leader by example. Now if Kendall's getting on you, then that means it's really, really bad. But he's a leader by example. He's obviously, him and I, we've met together over the last couple seasons, and he understands what I'm going to want necessarily from the defensive backs. But he leads by example. Obviously, the proof's in the pudding. He had an amazing year last year. He was an all-conference player, All-American in some other areas as well, but great leader by example. But he also understands as he gets older, he's now going to have to lead a little bit more vocally than he may have done in the past.
You look at your quarterback room. You got a lot of names.
I wonder when that question was going to come up.
Look, you got a lot of names that make people excited, but names don't always equal stats. Junior Maritovich, is he your clubhouse leader heading into the fall?
Well, I mean, I will say this. Junior's the guy that has he knows the offense. The biggest thing for me was in retaining Coach Henry as our offensive coordinator. I didn't want to change our terminology. I didn't want to change anything that we had done offensively. Now, obviously, Coach Simmons was pulling the trigger on a lot of those calls. But in all honesty, I didn't want to change what we were doing because with all the success that we were having. So, Junior's been here. It's going to be his third year being here. Obviously, coming into the spring, he knew more. He knew more than our quarterback coach at the time. So, he's working with our ones and our twos, and Daniel Richardson is working with our ones and our twos. And I think our offensive staff is doing a really, really good job with mixing them in with the ones and the twos, so we can find out what quarterback is going to be best for us.
Did you see predicted order of finish?
I have not. Where do they have us?
They have you second.
Oh, really?
Alabama State.
Wow. Okay. Well,
how does that strike you?
Well, I had us pick third. I'm not gonna lie. I had Alabama
What's
State.
Third? Everybody wants to be third.
I had Alabama State. I think Alabama State was 1 and Jack State was 2, or whatever the case may be. Those predictions. Obviously, it's exciting. It's exciting. I think it's coach based, right? The coaches are feeling what they think where we may be, but obviously, we play a lot of these teams later in the year, so I think the predictions are great. It give you something to stand on. It could be some locker room fodder for some other coaches, but ultimately it's going to be about when we play these teams throughout the year. I can tell you, whether it's Alabama State, Jackson State, or whatever the case may be, those teams are going to probably be a lot different in October compared to where we are right now.
Well, Coach, last thing here is you get ready for this season. You move from a defensive backs coach to the head coach here. What's been the biggest adjustment that you've had to make?
Well, a lot of paperwork, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I am. There is so much paperwork. I marvel with how much Coach Simmons has done. My director of operations, Jennifer Santiago, has done a great job and help relieving me with that. But Coach Simmons will have to do all this paperwork throughout the week and then go out there and call a hell of a game on Saturdays. I marvel about some of the things that he had to do throughout the week. But there's just administrative stuff, right? I've as you mentioned, I was taking care of the defensive backs, right? Taking care of the corners specifically on a daily basis. Now, I'm worried about every single player on this football team. I worry about them every single day. So I would say that, but ultimately, it comes with the job. I'm extremely happy and honored to be the 19th head football coach at Florida A&M, and I respect that. I understand that, and I take this job as serious as I can.
Real quickly before you go. Starting the season, Norfolk State, South Carolina State, Miami, Troy. That's a heck of a month.
Well, I was telling Mr. Grant earlier, I was hoping that they could send us to California for the first couple of weeks so we can see what kind of football team we have. But hey, when you're the reigning national champion, it's great to start in Atlanta. It's great to stay. You're gonna play Norfolk. You're gonna play South Carolina State. You're gonna play Miami. You're gonna play Troy. Well, what that tells us is going to tell us a lot about where we are as a football team. But obviously, the goal is to win the SWAC East, then play in the SWAC championship, win that, hopefully get an opportunity to go to Atlanta to play for the Celebration Bowl. So regardless of how we go with those first 4 games, our goals are going to still be intact, and our mission will not change, and that is to be the 2-time HBCU national champions.
2-time.
Coach James Colzie III joining us here on SWAC Media Day in Birmingham. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll have Prairie View A&M coming up next as well here in Birmingham. Stand by, everybody. We are at the 2024 SWAC Media Day.